I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
I'm not allowed to tell.
I'm Carrie Cassidy from Project CAMELOT, and I am here with Aaron. Wow. Let's start over. What's your last name?
My name on my birth certificate is Aaron Green Hicks, but my real last name is ROTH-SCHILD.
And perhaps being sent on missions during those years as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even astrally speaking.
A lot of my work was done astrally.
Okay. At the same time, you were aware that you were a Rothschild. Is that correct?
I wasn't aware that I was a Rothschild until about 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you think you were?
I didn't know what I was.
So you knew you grew up in Washington, D.C. You knew that you were in the Pentagon as a child?
Oh, that was an aware memory that I've always had.
Okay, so you were aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew you came from like the military-industrial complex,
Yes,
so to speak.
I even remembered the rapes that were done to me at 4 years old, but I didn't know why they happened to me. I thought it was just something that happened to me. I didn't realize it was part of the programming. That was my very initial breakdown. That was the time when they took me from 1 to 2. You understand what I mean, from
Right.
personality to 2. And then they were able to start working on me. They took me away from the man that loved me so much, and that was Mangala. And that broke me in and of itself. And that breaking plus the rapes did it. I split then.
Okay, right now I'm talking to Aaron.
Right, absolutely.
Is there multiple?
I like to think I've integrated, but who knows,
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah.
They tried to wipe my before I came to this summit. They did try to wipe my mind, and they put. I was almost completely wiped, and my children, my husband had to help me through it. I had to read letters and messages, texts, look at my Facebook. I had to start relearning myself again. So I've had to learn my memories twice. But they put an alter in me that was named Sarah Sinclair. And that's why I go by Sarah Sinclair on my Facebook, because I was identifying with that when they were wiping my mind. And right before I came here, they me-lapped me every night for like 2 weeks straight. They were trying to tell me my husband doesn't love me anymore, your family doesn't love you, nobody loves you anymore, and breaking me down so that I didn't come here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it.
I am too. It's the most amazing time in my life, because I finally found what I considered my family.
Okay. There's an interesting thing going on with you that I want to throw out there. I'm an intuitive, and I see things sometimes, and I just want to throw this out and see where you go with it.
Okay.
When I saw you on stage, you look like a much older woman. When I see you here, you look much younger. In other words, you seem to kind of be morphing, and you seem to actually, in a sense, you seem to be more in your 20s, where you are kind of like in your mental environment. Like, as you're talking to me, you seem like a person in their 20s who's just discovering themselves. That's how you seem.
I've had people tell me that before, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you're not the first.
Okay. Yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic. So can you kind of feel that?
I feel it when I start talking. I can feel my vibration just spin so fast.
But I mean, are you having a sense of time traveling? Might be too strong of a term, but in this sense, when I'm talking to you right now, it's almost as if the years between, you say you're 44, and that came into my head, so I assume that's correct. Between 44 and say 20, do you feel that there was something that went in during that time span, that somehow, in order to leap back to have this conversation we're having in a sense, you almost have to go back to being 20 again?
Yes, makes absolute sense.
It does?
Makes
okay, it just seems like a weird dynamic happening here.
You just put a puzzle piece in for me. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to put it together myself as I'm looking at you, okay, because it's just it's quite jarring. I don't know what'll show up on the film. I just know what I'm seeing, so it's very interesting. Okay. Just in terms of the big picture, and I don't even know how do you feel about the big picture here on Earth? Do you think you know the scenario well,
I know
or do you
what's
think
gonna
you're learning it?
happen. I'm not allowed to tell.
I'm not asking you anything about it. I'm asking you, do you think, like if I just say, do you think you know the scenario as it's being rolled out here on Earth? Do you think
yes,
you know?
it's deja vu. It's complete
Okay.
deja vu to me. Every time it happens to me, it's deja vu. I know what's going to come. I know what's going to happen.
You do?
I can't say because what I know is going to happen, humanity is not ready to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take time. When I think humanity is ready to hear it, I'll speak it.
Okay.
But that also gets me killed too.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. You know, so that's why I appreciate that. I just was curious whether you, and this information, does it come from the ETs, do you think, or did it come from your family? Because obviously the Rothschilds have an agenda, the Rockefellers. They are part of this future of humanity. They have an agenda they want to see happen. They're working very hard to have that happen. It may not happen, okay, the way they want it to happen.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And that's key. But are you aware, for example, of something called Project Looking Glass?
I've heard of it, but I've never looked into it, so
Okay.
I don't really know it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What about the Yellow Book?
Yellow Book, no. I don't.
Yellow Cube?
No.
Nothing about that?
No. See,
Okay.
like I said, I don't look into things because I try to stay true.
That's all fine. You know, in some
No,
instances.
Project Paperclip directly affected me because it was the Nazis brought over here.
Right.
Yeah.
And why do you say that?
Because they brought Mengele to me.
Okay.
Yeah. They brought that. The Nazi influence is heavy in my family from my father and mother.
All right. And do you feel, did you meet a lot of the paperclip scientists?
A few.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I talked
I've
about.
never admitted that before. Only Mengele have I admitted to before.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
When a little earlier, I talked about a time traveler who had been talking about these scientists who have been seen, have been working, and they're actually, what they do, this is what I was told. What they do is they actually are here, they've been regressed to much younger ages, they're in their like late 20s, sometimes their 30s. They're working very heavily on projects, but they actually have jobs that make them look like they're surface, what I would call surface people. They may have some low-level job in a clothing store or a
that's what
office
they did with my
supply
father.
store.
My father's cover job was a congressional aide. He
Okay.
was only supposed to be known as a congressional aide. That's it.
Right.
And he headed everything.
Yeah.
You know?
So-
irony at its finest right there.
Yeah, and so there seems to be some, like, even that's a time travel technique. In other words, to have the one sort of, and maybe, and this is another part of the story which I was trying to piece together, which was maybe they have clones that are being used to go to work that day and appear to be like a normal human while they go into the underground base and take care of certain business.
You're very intuitive.
Okay. Yeah, well, no,
Yes, you're
this
right.
time
That's what I'm
traveler
saying, is you're right.
person came to me, revealed these elements, and, you know, there was no other way to explain what he was talking about, but then to say that, in other words, to jump to that place.
They have several containers.
Yeah,
It's just not one or two. There's several. See, the government knows how to take your soul and just put it in this one, or put it in this one,
Right.
put it in this one. You know, people don't understand that it's a very easy process, actually. You know, we could do it ourselves. We can pull our own souls out and put it in another container. Takes a
Well-
lot for a human to do it, though. You know, for like you or me or someone else to do it without tech, I should say. It takes tech to do it. For us to do it ourselves, it would take a high vibration from us to get our souls to pop out to do it in a conscious manner.
okay, yeah, and that gets into all kinds of ethics, but you're also, there is also a darker side to that that would be called possession.
Absolutely.
Okay. In terms of, let's just say, in terms of the occult, were you taught this information when you were growing up?
I was always taken to church. My parents made a point of always going to church because that was the cover. Now, if any, I don't remember any satanic anything else.
You don't remember being taught the occult?
No. But
Okay.
I feel it heavily in my life. Aleister Crowley is very heavily ingrained in me. And he tries to charm me all the time. He sends me hearts when he needs more people on his side. He wants me to be over there because he knows my vibration level, and he's trying to get me back. He's trying to get me back with him.
Okay, and so you're talking about him as if he's still alive.
He is. He's a time traveler too. He had access to time travel tech. So he's here as if he was still a young man, middle-aged man or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get everything back. He wants it all back for himself.
So well, what that tells me, and I'm not so sure that makes sense, and I'll tell you why, and you can tell me why it does. Okay, so I'm throwing out that because I have studied the occult, and I do know a fair amount about Crowley, and I don't know everything about him by any means, but what I would say is that, and this is actually something I puzzled over, and I feel this way about, for example, Enki and Enlil and so on. In other words, there must be a way that these individuals progress. They can't have all this knowledge and not progress. So it seems strange to me when you say he wants it all for himself. It doesn't seem logical, based on what I know about Crowley, that would be true of him now.
Well, he's still under contract to bring darkness. Until we become peaceful, his contract can't end. So
and that's how you... Okay, who told you that?
I can't say.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. There's a lot... That kind of thing I could walk out the door right now and I'm done.
I hear you.
Yeah. Those of us that are part of Project Ibis, we're encoded with Crowley. Crowley's encoded in our DNA.
Okay. So can you read the tarot?
The tarot?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do that quite a bit.
Yeah. Do you use the Crowley tarot?
I don't know what the Crowley tarot is, so I
You
wouldn't
don't?
know.
Well, do you know which deck you're using?
Oh my goodness. I feel so stupid right now because I don't remember the name of it. I have two separate decks at home. I have an angel deck, and then I have a deck that's copied off of the first tarots, the original tarots that were made.
Okay, so you must have the old style deck, which I don't know the name of that. All right,
It
fair
has
enough.
a tower where you see the Pope coming out and the Queen coming out. You know what I'm saying? That card.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but I understand it's the old style deck.
Yeah.
Okay, but there is a Crowley tarot. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it might be interesting for you in this awakened state to look at those cards.
Yeah. That's what I was
because
just thinking.
his partner, sort of wife partner, and I forget her name, I think it might have been Frida or something like that. Or maybe I have her name wrong. Anyway, at any rate, she painted them. And they're quite beautiful.